Now we're ready for layer 4. Layer 4 is the real healing sequence. This is when you've made contact with this inner child, with this wounded one, with this aspect of your soul. You've dialogued with them. You have bonded with them and joined them by letting them know that you are willing to assist them in this pain. Now what you're going to do is there's a series of journal questions that are on the blog. I'll give you an example of them. What you want to do now is you want to get in touch with that inner child or that wounded one, and you want to ask them to show you the origins of their pain, the origins of their belief system. And some questions that you can ask is, you go in and you ask yourself, when was the first time that I felt this way? When you get kind of the sabotaging statements, when was the first time that I felt that? When was the first time that I developed that belief? And you become a detective. And you begin to put piece by piece together. And you begin to really see how this part of you sabotages, because it's afraid and it's stuck in time. So what you're going to do in this sequence is you and the inner child, or you and the wounded one, are going to time travel. You're going to go back to that time where that wound occurred. And I'm going to do it generically. Again, the blog has this all written out for you. But this will assist you in creating this interaction now, and assisting and guiding your wounded one in neutralizing the pain in their dimension of time and consciousness when the pain originated. All right? Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, because there's so many places you could go with this that I can't cover it in a 6 to 8 minute video, but I'm just giving you kind of a brush with it so that you can explore it a little bit more. All right. Let's start with the setup phrase. Now again, close your eyes and imagine that your inner child is sitting in front of you. Explain to the inner child that you are now going to go back into the period of time when it was wounded. You're going to assist it in neutralizing its fears. You're going to help it make peace with that time. It's like untying the knot, and you have to go back there in order to do it. So, in response to that, you ask your inner child to tap where you tap and say what you say. So, I will be saying for the adult what the sequences are. And you will, in unison, be repeating them with your inner child. And imagine that you were back there in that time frame, and you're like a little bug on the wall. So even though you're superimposing yourself back to that scene, you're not actually visible in the scene, although the inner child or the wounded one knows you're there. And we're going to be using the pronoun I. Now, in layer 1, we used the word I, but that was really addressing the adult self. Now we're going to be using the pronoun I, but we're going to be speaking for the inner child. All right? Okay. So let's begin. Get your scene. And we're talking as the inner child. Even though I'm really hesitant to do this piece of work, because I've carried this pain for a very long time, I am willing to trust my adult self. Go back to this wound so that we can heal. So even though I've carried this for so many years, and I've been stuck in time in the middle of this pain, I am willing to risk trusting my adult. I really want to let it go and begin to heal. So even though it's hard for me to take this step, I am willing, on behalf of our ultimate goal, I am willing to tap along in an effort to heal. Okay, so now you can do this a couple of times. The first time you may want to just work with the negativity of the inner child in terms of the anger at the situation. Then we'll move into the possibility that this could work. Then we'll move into the conviction that the inner child has neutralized his or her pain and is ready to move on. All right, now I'm limited to 10 minutes here, so I'm doing the short version. But this is something that you'll get an idea, and then I'm hoping it will inspire you to take this further. All right. So let's begin part B of this, where we do the sequences. Start at the corner of the eyebrow. Use both hands, it's better. Speaking again as the inner child. I can see this original scene. I am back there. I am so scared. I am so angry. I'm so hurt. I feel so unsafe. But I want this pain to go away. I want to speak my truth. I want to stand up for myself. Or I want to envision my adult taking care of me if I'm too little to speak for myself. But I want my truth spoken. And I want to feel safe. And I want to be protected. And I want to speak my truth. I want to speak my anger. I want to speak my sadness. I want to scream, it's not fair. I want to be loved. I want to be safe. I want to get away from this pain. And I'm going to keep tapping until it's all gone. I choose to keep tapping until it's all gone. And whether I have to write it, or scream it, or say it in a mirror, I want it to be gone. I want it to be gone. I'm ready to let it go. I'm ready to write my story and read it while I'm tapping. Read it to my adult. I am ready to proceed. I am ready to heal. I am ready to write my story. I am ready to speak my truth. Okay, now what I invite you to do is cut off the video, and before you go to layer 5, let your inner child write his or her story with your least dominant hand. And then read it and envision that the inner child reading it to the adult, and the whole time you're reading it, just tap. And just do that until you clean this sore this wound out. And when you feel ready, go to layer 5, which is the merger.